I was recently in New Orleans for my bachelor party and got to experience one of America's most iconic sandwiches from the source, the po' boy. I visited Domilise's, a legendary spot that's been making sandwiches for over a century, literally over 100 years. Being in celebration mode, I ordered a massive box of over 40 sandwiches, which allowed us to kind of try every po' boy on their menu. It kind of felt like getting a flight of beer at a brewery. As a student of the sandwich, it was the perfect scenario. Tasting, debating, and savoring sort of all of the different sandwiches, seeing which one that we liked more and less for what reasons. So today, inspired by that unforgettable meal, we are going to make the most iconic po' boys that New Orleans has to offer. Then at the end of the video, we're gonna try them all, and I'll tell you which ones I like the most and why. But before we get going, let's go over a brief po' boy history. The po' boy, or technically the poor boy, was born in New Orleans during the historic 1929 streetcar strike. Brothers Benny and Clovis Martin, great name, former streetcar conductors turned restaurant owners, began serving free sandwiches to striking workers using specialty-made extra long loaves of bread. Eventually, the sandwiches were affectionately given the nickname the poor boy, which later turned into po' boy. You know, that amazing New Orleans drawl. Over time, the po' boy became an iconic New Orleans dish, beloved across the city for its messy deliciousness, cultural significance, and symbolizing the local generosity, diversity, and resilience that New Orleans definitely has. Nawlins. New Orleans. Not New Orleans, Nawlins. New Orleans. Armed with this knowledge, I think it only makes sense that we begin with the OG po' boy, the roast beef. Ooh, all right, the roast beef. Check it out. So this is just a big chuck roast chunk that I braise low and slow in some good beef stock, Cajun spices, thyme, garlic, very simple braise. Then I let it cool down, as you can see, in its jus, right in the juice, that viscous jelly, because we're gonna basically turn that into a gravy. But we let it cool down so that we can slice it, right? The roast beef at a lot of places in New Orleans, right? At Domilise's, probably saying that wrong by the way, if you know how to pronounce that, let me know in the comments, was actually kind of sliced, whereas at a place like Parkway, another very popular po' boy spot, they slice it, but it kind of is shreddy and almost like a braisy slop rather than pieces kind of, which is kind of good. The slop factor is not a bad thing here. So let's get some strips out of this. I'm just gonna cut it into like thick-ish strips. When we warm this up, it's gonna really get melty and kind of braisy. So check it out. A little piece of roast beef, quote unquote, there that had time to reabsorb all that flavor from the liquid. This is that liquid here. It's got the fat floating on top. I removed the thyme. There's some garlic in there. We'll leave those garlics in, they'll smash up. We're gonna put this on the hob over medium-high heat and bring that to a boil. Then we're just gonna reduce it down slightly. It's gonna thicken up a bit. Then we gotta do one more thing to finish our gravy, our jus, whatever you wanna call it. All right, so we got our braising liquid reduced a bit. Now we're gonna thicken it up. To do so, we're gonna use a slurry. So we got some starch here. This is just cornstarch. Then we're gonna mix that with a little bit of good old H2O. Whisk, whisk, whisk. And this will thicken on contact if your liquid is boiling, which ours is. So we'll take it from here and see how we're gonna do. So again, we're just gonna whisk that in. Look at that, the bubbles are a lot thicker. Look at that, immediate. Pretty cool. So now we're just gonna take our cut beef and put that right back in. I'm gonna cut the heat. And now we're gonna pop the lid on and we're done with that for the meantime. All right, oysters, the oyster po' boy. Look at these big boys, dude. Come on, those are huge. These are actually quite similar in size to the oysters that we had in New Orleans. They were big boys. They're Gulf oysters, so they're a little brinier than, say, your East or your West Coast oyster. And in this case, the big ones, they're pretty big in size, large in stature. And actually, for a fried oyster po' boy, you kind of want the meatier ones because they're gonna be fried and cooked. We just gotta shuck these up a little bit. We got my towel here. We're gonna take a nice big fatty oyster knife right in that joint. Just wang jangle it a little bit, pointing down so if I mess up, I'm not stabbing my hand. Got it popped up. I'm gonna take my knife, scrape the top. Beauty. I'm gonna pour off the liquor, release it from the muscle. Cool. That's our first oyster. Look at that. A biggin. And now we just rinse and repeat with the remaining oysters. Bonus crab. Love when that happens. Look at that little guy. Should we fry him up, make a crab po' boy? Okay. Hint, hint. And I like putting them in the bowl like this too because you can pick the shells out easy. But we'll worry about that a little later. Oh, What's that fear called? Are you scared? That's a trypophobist's nightmare. So the flat side here, the cup side, which we're gonna go down with. 2 for 2 on the bonus crab. Dude, we might have enough for a po' boy. So we're gonna keep these oysters in their liquor and put them in the fridge and get going on the other seafood. Catfish. Check this out. This is a beautiful catfish fillet that's been brining since this morning. Sugar, salt, garlic, lemon, bay leaf, peppercorns. Very simple brine. Gonna make the catfish a lot more juicy and hold on to its moisture better when we fry it. So we're just gonna pat this dry here. So what I'm gonna do, I think, for this is, I want pieces of catfish on the po' boy, not just one whole big fried guy. Do I want one whole big fried guy? Let's go one whole big fried guy. I'm gonna take this side off, little meat chunk there. Actually, just a little bit off the end because it's a little tough. Beautiful. Fillet of catfish ready to go in the fryer. Boned out and everything. Look at that white meat. People hate on catfish. It's a cheap, it was considered a garbage fish for a long time because it's a bottom feeder, but if you get fresh catfish, man, they taste great, especially when they're fried. I'm a catfish advocate. If nothing else from this video, take away that you should go get some catfish right now. It's good stuff. While our oil heats up, I want to talk about the dredging situation because all of the seafood are going to be dredged the same way. We're going for like a southern kind of like Cajun fried situation here, something similar to what I saw at the shop. We got a 1, 2, 3 classic dry, wet, dry situation here. So for the first dry, we have this Cajun Creole seasoning here. This can be any of your, favorite seasonings that you want, but I'm going for the Cajun Creole today. So this has salt in it already, right? Then over here we have our buttermilk, very southern. That's gonna be the wet instead of egg white, we got our buttermilk. And then over here we have some just good old all-purpose flour, some coarse, medium coarse cornmeal, and I'm gonna put a little pinch of salt in that. Then we're gonna whisk this all up, and the cornmeal's in there because it's going to help give a little bit of crunch and texture and in sort of an aesthetic appeal that to me just like screams southern fried food, right? Those little bits of cornmeal on the shrimp, on the catfish, etc. All right, oil should be good, ready to fry. Let's start with the shrimp. All right, here are our shrimp. These little guys are beautiful tailed and deveined Gulf shrimp, right? Talk about the Gulf. We're talking about the Gulf of Mexico. Gulf of America. The Gulf of America now, right? What is it? Is it the Gulf, down below in the south near New Orleans, right? They have these beautiful little briny small shrimp. They're known for it. That's what we're gonna use today. So I'm gonna take some of my shrimps here. We're gonna pop a little bit of this Cajun seasoning in with the salt, just to kind of save on the Cajun. Give that a shake. Coat the shrimp. Don't destroy the shrimp though. Nice little spicy coating on them. I'm gonna take these, put them right in that bee milk. Coat them up. Now I'm gonna take some of these here with one hand and drop them into the final dry, which is that cornmeal flour mixture. And we're going for, when I said like kind of New Orleans style, like Southern style fried food, it's really just, there's no starch involved. It's really just a light coating of flour and cornmeal. And it's a very delicate, very, very light shell. All right, cool. So I'm gonna take some of our shrimp here, pop that in the fry basket, give that a shake. Make sure we get lots of that flour off. We'll lower that in. These will cook very fast. And the cool thing about these is you don't have to worry about the fish being cooked because it'll be cooked because it happens very fast. Right when they look nice and golden brown, GB, you pull them. Look at that. Golden beauty. Look at those little pieces of cornmeal in there. It's so pretty and delicious and crunchy. That texture, that flavor. The corn. Smell reminds me of Bubba Gump. They like to camouflage, really make sure you get all of them. And boom. All right, let's check these out. Come on now. Oyster time, don't shoot me. We do have to get rid of that liquor. Beautiful. I'm gonna take some of this Cajun seasoning here, kind of sprinkle that on. Yeah, like that. And that's gonna go right into the bee milk. And this is going to go into the batter. Some people don't even use buttermilk on the oysters because they're so wet already. I like the flavor. Same thing, pop them in, give them a shake, and let's go in the oil. Stir those around so they don't stick together. A lot of moisture in oysters. They all float to the top like that. They're pretty much good to go. Oyster. Look at that. Here we go, the catfish, the big boy fillet. Cajun all over that there fish. I'm gonna even get this little chunk going too. Why waste it? We're gonna flip. Little more Cajun. Into the buttermilk. Oh, this is meaty piece of catfish right here. Look at that. And into the flour. And look at these little beads of flour here. That's from the moisture caking into the flour and creating these beads. That's actually great, because you know when you get those craggly pieces of fried chicken that are like extra crispy? It's kind of because of that. Some people even add moisture to their dredge to make this happen artificially. Gorgeous. Oh yeah, look at that beauty. All right, got something a little special here. These are soft shell crabs. These are crabs that have malted their shell, so they're soft. You can eat this whole crab. They're prepped and everything. These are awesome. They're one of my favorites. Now, I didn't see a po' boy with soft shell crabs, probably because it was out of season when I was there. But also, I think it's like, you know, not that common. But there was a place that did a soft shell crab sandwich here that was just so good. I think about it from time to time. I think I want to try to emulate that sandwich and po' boyify it, if you will. But to do so, we're not going to use our classic dredge. We're going to make a special batter. We're going to go in with some vodka. I'll explain why later. Beer. Any mild beer will do here. Honey. Then we got some rice flour, good old self-rising flour, baking pow-pow, cornmeal, gotta have it, and a big old pinch of kosher. And I added the vodka and the beer because they have alcohol in them. So this is a sort of like a modified tempura batter here with some cornmeal, and that's gonna evaporate faster than water would and leave us with a nice craggly batter. Oh yeah, that's thick. Thin that out a little bit here with some more beer. It's very important that this is a cold batter too, so use cold ingredients. Cold liquids, I should say. A little more beer. All right, cool, looking good. Now for the dredge, we have some rice flour to starch and the rest of our Cajun. I'm gonna mix that in. Remember, this Cajun has salt in it already. And this is what we're gonna coat our crabs with first so that batter helps adhere and stick to them. All right, so we're gonna take our soft shell crab, being careful to keep all the legs intact. I'm gonna try to separate the legs and the claws because it looks cool when they fry up. So yeah, we got a nice little starch coat on that. Get your crab pancake. Lower that in. Rinse and repeat. Starch into the batter. It's like a sea monster. Check it out. Look at that beautiful color already on that. Look at that beautiful softy right there. Alien spider. For this next one, I got something very special here. These are called Patton's Hot Beef Patties, right? A local told me about this. This is a product you can only get in the Louisiana area. I ordered this online and it came literally like 5 minutes ago. Lucky for us. Check it out. I'm not even really sure what these are. I mean, I know they're sausage patties of sorts, but they look like seasoned and you can't really smell much on them. But I guess if you know about these, this is like a super deep cut, right? Like the sausage po' boy is one of the best I hear. So I don't know how many we need here, maybe 2 or 3. I think I'll go for 3 to play it safe. Beautiful. I'll leave a link below to where I bought these online in case you want to do the same thing. Not even sure how they taste. We'll see at the end of the video. Good old American cheese here. I guess this is the way. So I'm gonna take this so they fit on the sandwich better. I've seen people cut them in half. So we'll pop these right in the skillet. I'm thinking we might not need any fat here. These seem like they got plenty of fat in them. Smell like sausage. Oh yeah, good thing we didn't have any fat, huh? All right, flipperoo. Nice. Man, I gotta be careful here, huh? Greasiest sausage. Guess it wouldn't be sausage if it wasn't greasy. Very nice. Now we can go ahead and add on our shez. Oh my god, it's so greasy. All right, check that out. Patton's hot sausage. Definitely want to drain that. They look kind of cool. It is now officially TTB. Time to build. But before we do so, we gotta talk bread. Look at this thing. Bread is very important on any sandwich, but specifically with the po' boy. You want something crusty on the outside, but fluffy white, super light on the inside. Kind of like a banh mi bun. Or, if you're lucky enough to live near a bakery that does great bread, something like this. This is a cross between a French loaf and an Italian loaf, right? It's something custom made by this baker here. Tomatoes here. Chicago staple. We love tomatoes. They also got great cannoli and other stuff. So we'll cut off an end. And look at this. I mean, I'm barely poking at this. It is fluffy as heck. Now, length depends, right, how hungry you are. We're gonna go probably for 6 to 8 inches here, I would say. More than sufficient. Above average, I would say. Something above average. But I'm just gonna go like with that. Cut these up, just use that same piece to kind of make sure they're all uniform. But we ain't running a shop here, it doesn't really matter too much. Oh yeah, let's get 5, let's get 5. Woo! Actually, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces from that loaf. And do not forget to save the end for gouton. We're gonna start with the shrimp. On the bottom goes our fried shrimp. We're not skimping here. If it piles out, that's okay. We're gonna go on with our lettuce, shredded lettuce, the best green on earth. We got some sliced tomato. Optional, if you don't like tomatoes, leave it off. At Domilise's, they don't even add tomatoes on any of their sandwiches. Some pickies. Boop. We're gonna go right on with a little bit of catsup. I don't like ketchup, works very well on the sandwich though. Some mayonnaise. And last but not least, some Cajun hot sauce. We got Crystal in the house. Then we're just gonna close it up there, or whatever that's called. Boom. Sloppy, beautiful mess. The shrimp po' boy. I wish I put the mayo and the ketchup down first, then the shrimp. But you know, you live, you learn. Cool. Oyster po' boy. We're gonna go down with some ketchup on the bottom. Good old mayonnaise. Our fried oysters. Shreddy letty. Some tomate. Pickles. Some hot sauce on there too, why not? And here we go, the oyster po' boy. All right, unfortunately we're gonna have to slice this catfish. It's a little too mondo. Just gonna go right down the center. But to begin, same bread, ketchup down, mayo down, catfish on, shreddy letty, tomato, picky, and hot sauce, come on. The catfish po' boy. Softshell crab, same bread, catsup, just gonna go with a little bit, mayonnaise, softshell crabs, we're loading this, man. Shredded lettuce, we're gonna go 2 tomatoes, our pickles, and dash of hot sauce on the bread. The softshell crab po' boy. Sausage po' boy. We're gonna go on with some Creole. We're gonna go on with some Creole mustard. No ketchup here. Mayo. Our hot patties, sausage patties. Our tomato, pickles, and almost forgot the shredded letty. Come on, I can't forget that. I'm gonna leave the hot sauce off of this one because these are hot sausage patties. Roast beef po' boy, the OG. Creole mustard. Mayo. Sloppy roast beef chunks. Super tender, look at that. I mean, I don't even need to do anything for these to fall apart. It's gonna be a nice bite. We're gonna add in some of that extra gravy too. shredded lettuce, tomato, picky, and I think I am gonna add some hot sauce to that. The classic roast beef po' boy. We're gonna throw in a bonus po' boy. When I was there, I learned about something called the half and half, right? Which is half roast beef and half shrimp, or you can kind of combo out whatever you want, I believe, with land animal and sea. We're going roast beef and shrimp. It's actually pretty tasty when I had it there, so let's make it. The half and half. I'm gonna go down with our Creole mustard, a little bit of ketchup, going hot sauce on the bottom this time, a little bit of mayonnaise. Half of this is roast beast, the other half is shrimp. And since we're getting wild, gravy all over both of those things. You already know the drill. We're gonna go shreddis down, tomato, pickles. There she blows, the half and half. It's basically like a poor man's surf and turf. The only thing now to do that all the sandos are built is to taste them. I think we gotta start with the good old classic boy, the roast beef. Pray for me as I attempt to get cross-section. Ooh, yeah. That's why I love po' boys, man. It's simple. Now maybe you're thinking to yourself, Adam, you literally dressed them all with the exact same ingredients. I did. That's because that's what we call fully dressed, right? Every po' boy place has a different fully dressed mantra, right? Like for example, at Domilise's, they don't put tomatoes in their stuff because the owner didn't like tomatoes. Then you go to other places, maybe they add, a different kind of mayo, maybe there's like remoulades, but for the most part, I just wanted to use the most basic po' boy ingredients, which is the shredded lettuce, pickles, tomato, and then ketchup on some of the seafood ones, but we'll talk about that in a second. This one's got mustard on it, Creole mustard to be exact. Just dripping with the gravy. The beef is like smeared into the bread. That's how tender it is. Great litmus test, ground zero for po' boy, the roast beef. Sloppy shrimp. I know. I put the mayonnaise and the ketchup on top of all the toppings like a complete psychopath serial killer. But you live, you learn. Again, when I had mine there, the hot sauce, the ketchup, and the mayonnaise was all kind of fused on the bottom with the shrimp. I don't know what I was thinking, but here we are, and it's gonna be tasty. Ooh, that white meat shrimpingtons. Yumbo. All right, time to get ketchup all over my face. I'm gonna try to like shove this in like that, yeah. Yeah. The roast beef might be like the OG, but to me the shrimp is the OG. First po' boy I ever had was a shrimp po' boy. It's just like, I don't know, it's the most popular I think. I'm not a ketchup lover. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you probably know this, but on this sandwich, it's almost kind of like a cocktail sauce mixed in with the mayo and the hot sauce, and it works really nicely. Whenever I get a seafood po' boy now, I like when there's ketchup on it. So maybe I am a ketchup guy. Shrimp po' boy, classic. The Oyster. Look at those pretty little plumpers. Look at that. Cool. You can see the meat in there. That kind of like, it's kind of like grayish meat, which sounds gross, but it kind of is. I've seen them get really white too, but all right, ketchup on there. Let's try it. Yum. I love oysters, man, cooked or raw. And they're surprisingly meaty. I mean, look at that chunker. And they're crunchy like that with the ketchup. It's really good. Again, if you don't like oysters, this is a good starting point. You might like oysters after this. Oyster po' boy. I'm sorry, Oyster po' boy. Catfish po' boy. Woo-wee! That's pretty, man. Look at that beautiful white meat, man. Catfish, I'm telling you people. Good stuff. Well, like 90% sure. No, yeah, I was right. Good stuff. It's a succulent, delicious, meaty fish. It's a really good fish sandwich. That's pretty much all I gotta say about the catfish po' boy. Soft shell po' bizzle. I'm gonna cut this one across a crab so you can see what we're talking about here. I'm gonna go like this, right in the middle, and then right across the crabby. Look at that crab goo in there. We love that creamy crab guts. Sounds gross, really, really tasty. And look at this. The claw comes right off. Don't mind if I do. Damn! If you love crab, you're gonna love a soft shell crab sandwich. Soft shell crab, I'm a big crab lover. Obviously king crab's great, but all crabs, you know, I love catching them on vacation. I love keeping them as pets, but I don't have any. I love eating them. Crabs rock. And if you love crab, you're gonna love this po' boy because it has all that crab flavor and that soft crab with those veggies and the mayo and the ketchup and the, yeah, soft shell crab po' boy. Moving on. Ooh, claw down, claw down. Hot sausage po' boy, right down the middle with ye. All right, looks like a sausage patty to me with some mustard on it. American cheese. Really soft. Kind of reminds me of a White Castle slider patty in a weird way. I don't know. Spicy, not terribly. Spiced, definitely. The mustard's nice with it. The American cheese, classic taste. This is almost kind of like a cheeseburger po' boy in a way. Don't hate it. It's pretty good. It's got a cult following in New Orleans, I guess. Yeah, slider po' boy. Pretty good though. Look at that color, it's so orange. The half and half roast beef, half shrimp. Get back in there. Yum! I mean, how could that be bad? See about that. With the ketchup on that sandwich, because of the shrimp, I wanted the ketchup on there, you know? We talked about that. With the beef though, it kind of gives me like meatloaf vibes in a way, which I don't hate. Meatloaf's great. What good American don't love no meatloaf? Good stuff. Kind of like a best of both worlds there. I really like that one when I had it in New Orleans, and I really like that one now. This is gonna be tough, man, but we gotta choose our favorites. This is every po' boy we made today. We got the oyster, catfish, hot sausage, roast beef, half and half shrimp, half roast beef, shrimp, and soft shell crab. We're gonna do first, second, and third place. Keep it simple here because we got a lot. These are all great in their own ways. It's gonna be a tough one, but I think I know which ones I like. In third place, the bronze, respectable, on the podium. It's gonna have to be the roast beef. I was not expecting to like the roast beef as much as I did today. When I had the roast beef in New Orleans, when I had a bite of it, wasn't my favorite, mostly because there was so much other stuff out there that I was more excited to try. But today, on this board, for whatever reason, it's taken bronze. All right, the silver in second place on the board. Yeah, the half and half. Again, half roast beef, half shrimp. I love the shrimp po' boy on its own, especially with that little tinge of ketchup, but with the beef, it's even better because you get that mustard, you get that ketchup, that sweet and that kind of like savory and the, like we were talking about, the poor man's surf and turf kind of collide together to create this like amazing perfection. Really dug it, half and half. Second place, the silver. Which means in first place, the gold. It's gonna have to be, if you guys already know, the soft shell crab po' boy. Come on. Just consuming ligaments on camera. Again, I did not see this po' boy when I was in New Orleans. They might have it seasonally, I'm sure they do, it's a seafood town. If you love crab, soft shells are the way, I'm telling you, especially when they're deep fried. I mean, you deep fry anything, but still, that creamy, kind of like, for lack of a better word, I think it's called like tamale. The tamale is like the, sort of like the guts in the crab, the tamale, I don't know, comment below. Something like that. That yellow part that you saw in the crab or on the white meat, it's super flavorful. It's like the essence of the ocean, and I love that crab taste. You can eat the whole thing, it's satisfying. Crunch is nice with the mayo and with the ketchup again. I'm turning into a ketchup guy, I guess, because holy shorts, that is tasty. But remember, I'm just one fella with one opinion. Let me know in the comments which one you think looks the best, looks the worst, etc. Talk about them, talk about me, make fun of me, like my father. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got. My dad's like the nicest guy ever too. It's so funny.
Yeah, I feel like you're really making your dad out. Did your dad ever watch your videos?
Oh yeah, every one of them.
Oh, he does?
Every single one of them. Dad, I love you. That's all I got for you. Thank you for watching until the end here. If you love po' boys, enjoyed the video, like the video, it helps us out. If you're new to the channel, subscribe to le channel. Did I say channel in French? I don't know. You should subscribe if you're new here though. We'd love to have you. Best way to support us over on the Patreon, aka the grocery fund. Helps us fry the shrimp, fry the crab, set the lights up, keep the lights on. Regardless, come say what up in Discord. We're chilling, we're chatting, we're talking sandwiches, life, and everything in between, like a sandwich. That's all I got for you. So until next time.